Hello, welcome to our live demo today. My name is Anna and I will be your host for today's live demo. And today we have Panchami She, and she is going to show us how to create sunsets and silhouettes in watercolor. I hope you guys are as excited as I am. Welcome everyone, and welcome Pancha.
Hi Anna.
Thank
you for having me.
You can go ahead and get started whenever you're ready.
Okay, so let me just quickly introduce myself. My name is Panchami. I'm a watercolor artist, and I mostly paint a lot of paintings with nature and whatever I see around me, and some buildings or whatever. It's like I just love to paint everything beautiful that I see. I love to see a lot of colors, and basically, I just enjoy painting. And you can go through my work at Brush Paint and everything over Instagram. So today our topic is we're going to paint some silhouette and show the sunshine in the painting. So this is one of the sample that I have prepared for today. So let's just go ahead and start painting this.
Absolutely. I'm switching camera view so we can see your beautiful work.
Yeah. All right. So let me just begin with saying that this is actually the reference picture that I have used. If you can see, this is not really a sunset view. So I am using this as a reference for my silhouette. If can you see this clearly without shadow of the light?
Yeah, we can see it. Thank you.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I
So
also
this
have
is
the
what I have
reference
used.
photo available for everybody that I can post in the chat, so everyone can grab that picture and take a look at it on your screen as well.
Okay. Let me. I'm not sure if I have that on my desktop.
It's all right. We got it for everybody.
Right. Let me
share it in the chat, guys.
Yeah. Yeah, I have shared it with you.
Oh yeah, you're good. I have it ready for everybody.
Okay. So this is what I have used, and in the reference picture you can see that there are a lot of trees, as in not just the tree that I've painted. So basically how I approach translating a reference picture into a painting is I just see what is more catch my attention in the reference picture. So when I see this, I liked all these wonky trees, the just the three trees that are actually popping out of this reference photo. So that's why I just chose these three to be depicted in the painting exactly, and the rest of the elements, it's just what to say, not that prominent or detailed. As you can see, all these trees or the small bushes are just some kind of blurry elements which just into the presence of those bushes there, and they're not exactly painted in detail. Now what I'll jump to is how to get this sunset effect. You can get that with any silhouette, with reference of any silhouette as a reference. You can paint the sunset scenario. So another case is this one, which I have painted here. So I'll talk about this later, how I approached this picture and how I painted this later on if time allows. So let's begin with this one.
We're so excited to see.
I'm just going to draw a rough sketch first. Just one tree, and if time allows, we'll just go ahead and paint some more. I love to paint wonky trees. I don't like it when it's just a straight parallel tree. It has to be moving, it has to have a lot of curves. So I just feel it adds a lot of character to it.
Absolutely. Kind of takes some of the pressure off too, so you don't have to worry about making a perfect tree,
Yeah.
right?
True. And I mean, in nature, it's not that everything is perfect. You can see that it has a lot of curves. There is a lot of wavy and bendy details in trees. So right now I'm not sticking exactly to what is there in the reference picture. So just adding some branches on top. I'm not going to draw the circle for the sun because it's going to be a very light color. So if I have pencil mark on the paper, that might look a little odd. So I'm not going to draw that.
So you can still kind of choose what to include and what to take out from your reference?
Yes, yes. So having this, we're going to paint the foliage here on top. And just like the reference, this painting, we are going to have sun somewhere around here. The colors that I have used here is lemon yellow at the center. So I just start with lemon yellow going circle around the sun, and then I use some deep yellow, or which is orange shade, and then followed by opera pink around it, and then I used a shade of light blue or a cobalt blue, whatever is available to you. Alternatively, I would say you can use lemon yellow, which is commonly available in any palette, and any color orange, close to orange that you have. If you don't have opera pink, then you can always use rose madder or quinacridone rose, or any color of pink that complements your orange. It makes sure that it doesn't give you any muddy color. And if you don't have I'm using cerulean, you can use cerulean blue. If you do not have whatever paints I'm using, you can always use alternative colors. And for these dark ones, I'm using indigo. I love to use indigo instead of black. But more, if you don't have indigo, you can use black because that's something that's commonly available in all the palette. Okay, so let's get started. Would like to paint wet on dry. I'm not I usually paint wet on dry, not much of wet on wet fan, because wet on dry gives a very nice bright effect, and you don't have to paint multiple layers. So I find painting wet on dry more convenient.
So exciting to put down the first color too.
Yeah. Okay. So considering the sun somewhere around here, and I have some issue. If you cannot see the paint properly, do let me know.
Yes, of course. Is there a particular size brush that you use to begin with?
Okay, I'm using mop brush of size 2. You can use flat brush. I have mentioned flat brush because this is something that's commonly available. You can use flat if that's not available. If you have a mop brush and that's something that you're comfortable with, you can start with it. So if you notice, the consistency of my paint is very light because I'm painting wet on dry, and I do not want my paint to dry on paper very quick. So I'm keeping the consistency light. Mixing at the border, and I'm just taking some water and press just this orange. Next, I'll take some opera pink and start painting, not exactly at the border, but somewhere, at the right into the side where you have stopped previously, so that there is a nice blending of paint that you can see here. And it's the colors are mixing on paper, and I'm getting a kind of rosy orange.
It's so beautiful. I have those sunset
This
vibes
is my
already.
yeah, this is like my favorite. I really love to use this pink and orange or yellow to get this rosy sunset. And somewhere down below here, I'm just going to put the light wash of pink. Okay, and on top I'm going to use cobalt blue. Cobalt blue and pink will give me a nice purple. I'm going to start from top and mix it midway.
So you still want to think about which colors are kind of blending together as you're painting?
Yes, yes. So I have chosen these colors such that they're not giving me any muddy color and they are blending well with each other. I'll come to that again. So what I'll do is I'll just clean my brush, take some water, go through this whole mix again just to make sure that there is no hard edge and everything is blending well.
So for this part, are you using water to kind of help with that blending?
Yes. So I've just wet the brush. My paper is already wet because the paint is, the consistency of paint that I had used is quite light. So that kind of, just helps me to blend in. That's it.
Absolutely. It already looks so pretty.
Okay. So while this dries, let me just talk about the color choices that we can make. Um, so I would every time, while painting a sunset, typically sky, naturally the colors that you can see here is, I have this thumbnail for reference. So there is yellow, and then as it goes towards the outer corner, it's orange, it's pink, and then it's blue. This is something that I always like to keep in mind because these are the colors in order which will blend well with each other. For example, the yellow, when it mixes with orange, it just gives you a lighter orange. When orange mixes with pink, it gives you a rosy pink or something, sometimes a dark orange. And then pink, when it mixes with blue, it gives you purple. So any point of time, if these colors are overlapping and mixing with each other, it doesn't give you any dirty, muddy color. It always gives you a very natural and a good color result. So if you don't like these many colors in your picture, then here I have just used two. I have used yellow and I have, sorry, three. I have used yellow, pink, and blue. So just three colors, and you can see that blue is not that prominent because it has mixed along with pink and it has become a kind of purplish color. So these are so basically the order: orange, pink, and blue. These are the colors that I generally like to use, and that's how you can paint easily with these colors. So coming to these thumbnails of different, what can I say, the different color palette. So here I have used yellow and pink. Here I have used and a bit of brown. And these are totally different palette, which is vintage palette from Art Philosophy, which is like a yellow ochre and pastel, pink and pastel. So basically the sun is always in the yellow of that color palette, and moving to the outer ring, I always look for the pink that is complementing the palette. And then naturally when you mix that pink with the blue, you'll get the complementing purple or complementing complementing blue. Now coming to the tree, what I like to do is not directly paint with black. What I like to do is mix the color, the darkest color in your background palette with indigo or black or whatever dark color that you have, so that the dark color that you put on paper is not, it's not like an odd man out of that entire color palette. There is some element of the darkest color that is already there in the background, so it kind of blends in better. So that's generally my approach while mixing the dark color that I need to use in a painting. So
Does it
even
kind of
here,
help?
what I have used is,
Does it kind of help to
you were saying
plan those
something.
little thumbnails before, like to see how the colors will mix together? Is that a good practice?
Yeah, that, yes, that too. Sometimes I have certain idea that I want to paint or change the color palette of the reference picture. So this thumbnails always help me, if to get an idea what looks better or what I am envisioning. Can I really put it on paper with the colors
Absolutely.
that I have available? That is okay. And here in this one, I have not directly used indigo. I have used cobalt blue here for the sky. So I have mixed cobalt blue and indigo so that I get a complementing dark color. This is still a bit wet. Another thing is, you guys can always do wet on wet. It's not necessary that you have to do wet on dry. And you can still get the same. Maybe if it's lighter, then you can always do a two-layered painting with the same color, so that you get a brighter and more saturated background.
Absolutely. And Panchami is having a mini workshop on Wednesday, November 21st at 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. If you'd like to do some more of these sunset techniques, can you tell us a little bit about that, Panchami?
Yes, so our mini workshop is a little different from this, but it's again inspired by nature, something that I love to paint a lot. It's going to be a windy road and a winterscape with a lot of trees and some snow and some very dramatic road. So I'll be teaching this
That looks
all.
so beautiful, right in time
Yes.
for the winter scenes too.
Yes. So this is something that I'm going to cover in our mini workshop, and this is really fun, and it has a lot of lovely trees and some nice colors of nice. I mean, not too many colors, but this yellow on the road. It's kind of catchy, and some snow falling around. So this is something that I absolutely love. This is one of my favorite painting, and I'm really excited to teach this in the mini workshop.
Some more of those awesome trees shapes too. I can't wait to see more of that.
Yes. Yes. So you can see all the wonky trees that I've painted.
It adds so much character. I love it.
Yes. So basically this is what I'll be teaching in the mini workshop.
Awesome. And there's a link in the chat if you guys are interested in signing up for that on November 21st at 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time.
And let's go ahead with this. I still have a little bit of yellow wet over here. Now in this background, what I can see is, you can see that there is a ring of darker light that is formed here. So basically this is not something that ideally should have happened. Because I'm talking and painting, it's probably because of that, or it's because of the weather. So if something like this happens, what I would do is, I would repeat the same color and same process on top of it, so that these rings will get blended in with the second set of color that you apply on top. I'm not doing that right now because it'll again take a lot of time to paint and wait for it to dry. So this is something you guys can do if this happens. But I'm going to
That's
let
great
this
to
be
know.
because I can cover all these, I can cover all these rings with the foliage of the tree. So eventually that's going to get covered, so I'm not going to bother too much about it at this point.
Awesome. That's a good tip, though, because
Now,
I think sometimes we worry about messing up our work and then having to start all over. So it's good
yes,
to know how you can fix things.
exactly. Yes. So
And
I'm just going
Panchami,
to
we're right
wet
at
my
the
brush a bit.
20-minute mark, just so you know, okay?
All right. Yeah. Yes. So we're just going to quickly paint the foliage and the tree.
No worries.
So before that, you see the circle that is depicting the sun has kind of hard edge. If you like it, some people like it to have it this way. If not, what you can do is with the wet brush, you can just soften the corners or soften the edges of this circle.
And is that
I'm
just with the
using a
wet
smaller
brush?
brush because, yeah, it's just, I have just damped the brush a little and I'm just blending in the corners so that it just, sorry, the edges of the corners of the edges of these of the circle, so that it blends and it doesn't look too sharp. I'm taking a little bit of yellow, very extremely light, and I've just applied it to this circle. Okay, so now let's begin with the tree. Since this is still wet, I should have done this earlier, sorry. But it'll take a minute to dry. I'll just start from the bottom. So I've switched to a size 4 brush, size 4 round brush. I'm going to take some indigo and mix this with the red brown, Mijello red brown. I have red brown. If you don't have this exact color, you can use burnt umber or any other dark brown shade that you have. So basically it gives me this color. So it's pretty dark.
Oh, so rich. I love it.
Yeah, the thing is, see, it's not black. When you lighten this paint, you'll see the blue in it because I've mixed blue and this background already has blue, so it'll gel in better. So the technique to get this sunset is, it's very simple. The thing is, wherever the sun falls on the tree, it has to be very light because the light is falling on this exact point where when you're viewing it. So this will be orangish, and as it moves towards the bottom and towards the top or outside the ring of this yellow shine of the sun, it keeps going darker. Now, the darker version of yellow, as I depict, is this brown. Keeps going brown, and eventually it becomes the dark indigo mix that I have. So that's the basic approach of it. So you can see all these trees as well. As since it is in the further ring of the yellow, it's brown. But as it goes close, I have painted that in very light brown or somewhat yellow. Even the foliage is such. The foliage that falls within this yellow ring, it is brown in color. And it slowly transitions to the dark shade as it moves outside that yellow ring. Even here on the top. So this is a most basic concept how we can paint the shine and get effect, and that's pretty much it. So let's paint it. Since my center is still a bit wet, I'll start from this bottom.
And this looks like a pretty
So as I
rich,
reach,
it's less
sorry,
water into your mix that you're using right now?
yes, it's a pretty thick consistency of paint, not too much water. Next, I'll take some brown. I'm mixing it with yellow to make it light. And I'm not using a different yellow. I'm just using the same yellow that is already used in this painting. Basically the same concept that, it has to blend in with the color palette of the background. So I have painted a little bit of brown. I'm going to wipe clean my brush. take some water and blend this point where it is meeting each other, these two colors. Now as I move to the top, I'm adding lighter brown. Now I'll just take yellow, again make just a tinge of that brown to get this extremely light yellow color. With that, I'll paint till the circle of the sun and then the top part of the branch above the sun. Now I'm going to clean my brush. Just take some water and pull this paint to get a very light yellow brown. Now I feel that here, it needs to be darkened a little bit, so I'm just taking some brown and adding here. Just pull the same thing up. My brown. Again, take the dark color.
And for the tree, the wonky trees, love it.
Yes.
It's
So
really neat to
wherever
see already
these
the
two,
colors.
yeah, so wherever this colors are meeting, I'm just going to blend it a little.
Awesome.
Maybe take a bit of brown and darken it here. So there you go. So now you can see, right? There is a kind of glow that you can see on the tree. So because of the light that is falling from the sun, it becomes really light over here. And as it moves as the tree is away from the sun, it just goes on getting darker. Now, since this is within the ring of the yellow, I'm going to almost close to the end of it. I'm going to use a brown color for this branch, and a lighter brown for the tip of it. Using yellow here for this one. And since this branch is almost at the bottom, I'm going to use black. Just flicking the brush to paint some extra branches that's just coming out of the tree. All right, so we have our tree ready. Ta-da! So half of our work is done. Next, now to paint the foliage, it's really simple. I'm going to use this round goat hair brush. But this goat hair brush is mainly used by everybody because I got this brush from a Chinese brush painting class. So I don't think everybody would use this. If you do not have this, you can just go to some brush. The brush which you have already used, it's very old and you are not that bothered about ruining the tip of the brush. You can use that kind of brush to paint this. So let me just quickly show you the technique. So I am taking a really dry brush. Okay, you can see, right? The bristles are dry. And I'm going to apply some paint on the tip of this bristle. And then I'll be dabbing on top of the paper. If it's way too dry, add a little bit of water. Okay, this is too much water.
So good to test and look for that middle consistency before you begin?
So you can just exactly. So you can remove the excess water on this rough paper. So once the paper, this excess water has been removed, so now you have this. So you see, you can easily paint the foliage. In this, I want you guys not to use the brushstroke in the same direction. You have to keep changing the direction of your dabbing action on the paper. So you see, I have my foliage moving in all direction. It's not just like this, just moving at one direction. So you have to keep moving your bristles so that it can have, it can depict some motion. Now let me show that with a regular brush. So this is a dry brush I have here. And take some paint and remove that excess paint if there is. And then same thing, just try to move the brush in different directions so that you can get that foliage. Since the bristles are small, it looks a little bit different from this one, but the effect, you can still get that foliage kind of effect. So this is a very quick way to paint foliage.
Awesome. That's so
Right?
neat. What a
So
good
let me
what a good
just,
trick.
yes. So let's just try this. I need to mix some more paint.
And are you following the same colors that you would for each branch as
Yes.
they're hitting the sunspots?
Yes, exactly. I'm just using the same color that I've used to mix this dark black. So this top foliage, I'm just going to dab. It's a little dry.
It's so relaxing too to see it in action. Is
Mm-hmm.
anyone painting along today to get this beautiful silhouette tree with Panchami? Let us know in the chat.
All right, so I've got the foliage here. Let me quickly show you with another brush as well for those who do not have a goat hair brush. Paint this here in the bottom. I'm just going to paint the bottom of this with dark color. Because as we move on top, since this falls within the range of this yellow ring, I'm going to paint that with yellow or the brown color, the golden, yellow and brown mixture. Always use a rough paper to see if you are getting those hard edges, because sometimes there's excess of water there. I'm going to paint it here. So you see, this is what I meant. These rings you can cover with the foliage.
And you're still matching the color scheme as before. That looks so good.
Yes. Right. So here also, as we move to the bottom, I'm just going to add some of this brown color so that it depicts the shine of the foliage, the bottom part of the foliage. Okay. I'm just adding some. This is probably the foliage from the next tree or something like that. Okay. So there you have it. So I should have used a little drier brush, but never mind. So at the bottom, I'll just add a little bit of dark color and maybe dab with my fingers to blend. This is because the shadow part of this foliage, it's not like the entire foliage will be light in color, because it's a bushy setup, and and the bottom part will definitely have shadow. So I'm just adding a little bit of shadow here. So that's pretty much it. I'll just add some more branches. I think we'll not add too many different, I've had 3 trees here. I'll just finish up with this one tree. You guys can always go ahead and add some more trees in your painting.
It's so beautiful. If you guys are having any questions, feel free to type them in the chat as we get ready for our Q&A. And I will pass those along as soon as we are wrapping up with this beautiful tree. Is anyone enjoying the sunset right now? I know it's midday for me, and Panchami is enjoying the sunset.
Yes, I'm enjoying sunset at night.
I guess we're all enjoying it with this.
Yeah, I'm just going to add some bushy, background here. First, I'll add this very light layer. And then I'll take the darker tone. Mix. This kind of adds a little bit of perspective, like, there is 2 layers of foliage here, of the bush underneath here. So as you can see, if you had painted 2 more trees, you would have covered these rings that has formed in our first layer. So just to cover that, I'm just going to add maybe a tree here in the corner. Just a hack to cover your mistakes at times. I'm not going to paint foliage for this, just a wonky tree which is bending towards the other end.
We got to add that in. It looks so great. I hope you guys have enjoyed this demo with us today, and I'm just going to start passing on some of the questions that came in, Panchami. There was a question earlier, if you can draw and sunset the silhouette with nature animals and trees, could you add any extra silhouettes in there?
Sorry, I didn't get you. Could you repeat, please?
The question was, can you draw and use the sunset and silhouette if you added nature or animals? Would you draw that before you began the sunset?
Yes. If it is I did not draw the sun because it's just a circle. If it is an animal, or if it's a human being, or something else which needs sketching, then I would definitely sketch it in the beginning. But I would make sure that whenever the light falls, the pencil sketch is very light, because this part is going to be light, and if we have a dark graphite on the paper, it'll look odd when you've done painting.
Great question, thank you. And there's another one from one of our viewers. What is the second yellow color in addition to the lemon yellow that you used for that sunset?
Okay, I have used yellow orange from Art Philosophy. It's somewhat like a deep yellow.
Awesome, thank you for sharing that. All right, everyone, our time is up for today, and I hope you guys enjoyed your time with Etcher Studio. Panchami, thank you so much for the demo today, and I hope you all are going to join in for.
Have shared.
Absolutely. And we still have that mini workshop on November 21st, so please feel free to jump in and join us for that. It's going to be awesome. Do you want to show us that again?
Yes. So here is what we are going to paint for our mini workshop. Just a second. I just lost the other one. Oh, it's here. So this is what we're going to paint. Either of this. It's something. It's like a winterscape with a lot of nice characteristic trees and snow and a very cozy theme.
That is all fantastic.
So we're going to discuss about perspective, color mixture, palette, and different brush strokes, perspective of trees and distance. So there'll be a lot of things involved and a lot of cool concepts that I'll be sharing in the mini workshop as well. So if you guys enjoyed this one, I'm pretty sure you guys would enjoy the mini workshop as well.
More trees. And you can grab a cup of hot
Yes, more trees.
chocolate or sip along. The workshop is a step-by-step tutorial where you can learn techniques and follow along. So it's a great next step to this quick demo where you can actually be painting and ask questions in the chat. Thank you again for being here today. I'm just going to post our survey one more time in the chat for you guys to fill out. We love to hear from you. Let us know what we can improve on or what we're doing really well with. And Panchami, would you like to finish us up today with any last words for our members or our viewers today?
Yes, so all you guys who enjoy painting, so don't be scared of making mistakes. So always you have to practice to, you know, get better with painting. So failures is a stepping stone. So just always go ahead and enjoy painting. So hope to see you guys. Can't hear you, Anna.
Oh, thank you for joining us. I've muted my microphone. Have a great day, everybody.
Yes. Have a great day, guys. Thanks, Anna. Bye bye.